Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome everybody here tonight, and we are here to have our December City Council meeting, and we're now calling this meeting to order. I would like to ask, if I could, for the Dr. Ronnie to come up front and say the invocation for us. His home church is Calvary Baptist Church down in Covington, and he now retired, but he preaches at a lot of churches these days. So like my wife, she preaches in a lot of rooms in the house. Lives in Loganville. Very good. Ronnie, the mic is on. Right there, bud.
Tonight in their business. Father, we come to you, we come in the name of Jesus, and we come to thank you for many blessings that you bestowed on each one of us here. And Lord, we just pray tonight that you would bless these servants of the living God that do the business of the city of Loganville. I pray that you would give them wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, that you would help them to do the right way, that you would have them to do. The truth would set you free. And I pray, Father, tonight that you bless this meeting and bless each one here. And we thank you, Father, for blessing us. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen. Harold Tribble, would you step up front and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Or you can do it from right there. Do it from right there. Okay.
Everybody ready?
Yes, sir.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dr. Ronnie Barnes, thank you.
Yes, sir. God bless you.
Appreciate everybody. Okay, can we have a motion for the adoption of the agenda? Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, the agenda is adopted. As all of you can see, if you have an agenda in front of you, the items listed on the consent agenda were agreed to on Monday night unanimously. So we put those on the consent agenda so we don't have to bore you with some of the housekeeping details of running city governments. So we will move now, and move pretty quickly, to Planning Zone Committee report. Ms. Linda Dodd.
Thank you.
Whoa, what's the, breathe it.
Okay. Can we have a motion to approve the consent?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Okay, we have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Gosh, I don't know what I'd have done if they hadn't. Just been looking. Okay. Now, everybody ready to move along?
Yes, sir.
To Planning and Development Committee report, Linda Dodd.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to turn this over to Tim, Mr. Prater, and let him call these cases out for us to vote on.
Okay. Mr.
Mayor,
Tim
Council.
Prater, Director of Planning and Zoning. Looking very
Mayor.
chipper tonight.
First item we have on the agenda is case number A22-008. The applicant is Split Silk Properties LLC. The property owner is Teresa King Needham. Parcel number is C0210016. Present zoning is B2 and A2. The address is 4900 Atlanta Highway. In Walton County, it's 5.84 acres. The proposed development is commercial retail center.
Okay, and again, a lot of these were discussed Monday night. A lot of people came and were allowed to speak Monday night. Tonight is the night we have for the council to make their votes. So we need a motion for
Mayor,
a
I
case.
make-
Go ahead.
I make a motion that we annex this property into the city.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, it passes 6-0. Okay, Tim?
The next item we have is the rezone for the annexation. It's R22-009. The applicant is Split Silk Properties LLC. The property owner is Teresa Needham. Parcel number is CO210016. Present zoning is B2 and A2. The requested zoning is CH. The address again is 4900 Atlanta Highway in Walton County, 5.84 acres, with a proposal of a commercial center.
Okay, thank you, Tim, for the description. We need a motion.
Mayor, I make a motion that we change the zoning on this property from B2 and A2 to CH.
Okay, so the motion is that we change just for those of you here, B2 and A2,
Yes,
as you heard it, that's the county zoning. And now that we've annexed it into the city, we have to give it our zoning. And the request was to zone it commercial highway. And we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I have a question.
Okay.
We were going to read in some conditions of zoning on that.
Yes, I'm sorry.
And we
Ms.
are?
Natalie.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I don't have them.
Okay,
That's your
Kim,
committee.
you got those?
Okay, well, as we discussed the other night, two of the things that we wanted to put in this is that they don't have any vape shops and no tattoo parlors in this development, when they develop it. And,
Okay, that was for the other property that you sent out that email. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
okay,
Well, I thought that you sent over an email about, Jeff, I think you sent an email over about what you were willing to concede earlier this afternoon, or maybe yesterday, about evergreen trees, Leland cypress, dumpster screening, et cetera. Is that?
yes, he did send that over, yes.
Okay, is
And we
that
can
the-
make that, yes, we can make that part of the
Okay.
rezoning, yes.
Do you have that list, Tim?
No, I do not.
Linda,
have
could
it.
you read that list?
I have it right here.
Okay, could you
Okay.
read the list for the record?
Yes, the following condition, do you want me to make the motion with these conditions?
Yes, let's do that.
We already got a motion. We need to withdraw your motion, and
Okay.
then if you all wish, to make a new motion with conditions as read.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. So I withdraw the motion. Thank you.
Okay.
No, you read it. No, Okay, so we can commit to the following based upon other comments received. No tattoo parlors or vape stores. Decel line from Lee Bird Road down to the entrance of Ozine Road. Decorative monotive signage. Evergreen trees planted in the landscape strip along Ozine. Typical Leyland cypress trees planted 10 feet on center is what most landscape architects would recommend, and dumpster screening. So they're agreeing to do all of that. So,
And also add in no vape shops, no tattoo parlors.
yeah,
Right.
they said that was the
Okay.
very first thing, no tattoo parlors and no vape stores.
Okay.
That was the very first thing on the line, so. All right, so now
I
that
would
we.
ask, one second, I would ask y'all to withdraw the D-cell lane, because we don't believe we can install that due to force main and water main. I would ask that y'all withdraw the D-cell lane as a condition. We don't believe that that can be feasible in that location due to utilities. A D-cell lane should not be above a water line or a sewer force main.
Okay.
Okay, just for those of you that are not aware, we had the city engineers out there, the company that we use, and Danny and Tim were out there today looking at that. What about the right turn from Zion Cemetery to,
That's not a condition for this property.
is it possible to do it?
That's something we can discuss later, but it's not part of this zoning, though.
Okay. Tim, you know what I expect.
What?
Okay.
Because he has no power to make that a right turn, because he has no authority over City Street. Only y'all can make that. So you cannot put a condition on somebody that has no authority to do something. He can only do stuff that's on his property, but he cannot make a condition for a right turn on a public road that he's not the city of Oakville. That's why he cannot make that a condition.
Understand? If we make that happen, can we make it a condition that they pony up with the expense of that project?
I don't believe so. It's not part of his development.
Okay. Well, Jeff, I hate to put you on the spot, so I won't. But you know what I want. Jeff Tembler? No, we're talking about at the light, at the intersection of Old Zion. Right now, it's just one lane, and if somebody is turning right, they just sit there till they have the opportunity.
Yeah,
And
Mayor,
if we possibly can, we would like to have a turn lane there, just to alleviate some of the traffic.
This is something that's gonna be studied, it may take a year.
I
or two.
understand.
So you cannot impose that cost on a developer that's not part of that project. We can discuss this at another time and date, if the council wishes for me the authority to look into that, I'll be more than happy to, we already have, but, that's something that has no bearing on this matter.
But it would be advantageous for the developer to make sure this happens as well as the city, because those people are your neighbors and your customers too, when this is built. So that'll never change. Okay.
We did talk about the access onto Old Zion. Was that listed as one of the conditions?
Well, more than likely that, so, like I said earlier, for the public and for some of y'all, that when a rezoning comes and it has a site plan, that's just a potential. If approved, and
Gotcha.
they submit a formal plan, that goes through the process of all the committees within the city, highways and streets being one of them, where they may say, you need to add another access because the type of building may require 2 entrances. At that time, those would be a part of the permit process where they would have to adhere to them. That's, we'll call redlining. So they say, hey, we want to put this curb cut here. We may look at it and says, no, that doesn't work for us. It's too close to such. You need to put it here. They would have to do that because it's part of the permit process.
Okay.
That's where those will come in. Now, you can certainly put a condition that they have a curb cut, or entrance off of Ozone Cemetery if you wish, but I would not.
You explained it. Thank you.
I
Mayor.
think we're fine.
Yeah, we're good.
So if you could just read the conditions would be the vegetation,
Right.
limit the type of, license, not license, but, business types, no vape shops, no tattoo parlors.
Right.
The, screening for a dumpster, that's already a zone, ordinance. Some of these are already ordinances that they
Yeah.
have to adhere to, so I don't know if you wanna, Tim, do we wanna read them as conditions?
I mean, they could, especially the trees on the back side of the property, the Leland cypresses. They can make that a condition of zoning to
Sure.
block the back
And
of
if
the
it's a
buildings
condition
from
and an
the road.
ordinance, so be it.
So if we could just start over, say, I make a motion with these conditions, and then start from there.
Okay, I don't have it up anymore. It went dead end.
We need our techie.
I'm just gonna bring this back to you, Dan, and then you just go ahead and read it.
Okay. Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the rezoning from B2 and A2 to CH with the following conditions. No tattoo parlors and vape stores, decorative monument signage, evergreen trees planted in a landscape strip along Old Zion, typically Leland cypress or cryptomeria planted 10 foot on center in what most landscape architects would recommend, and dumpster screening.
Okay?
Danny, is that okay?
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Okay, we have Melanie and Jay opposing, so it's 4-2. It passes. Okay?
Next item we have is a request for annexation, case A22-012. The applicant is Mark Myers. Property owner is Richard and Ronald Smith. Parcel number is CO16006. Present zoning is A2. The address is 4706 Highway 81 in Walton County, 2.5 acres. Proposed development is retail shops with road alignment and out parcels.
Okay, thank you for that description. So this is the annex of the property at the end of Lee Bird Road and where it intersects with Highway 81 right across the street. So we need a motion.
I make a motion that we annex this property into the city.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, that carries 6-0.
Next item is the rezone for that property. It's R22-013. The applicant is Mark Myers. Property owner is Richard and Ronald Smith. Parcel number is CO160006. Present zoning is A2. The requested zoning is CH. The address is 4706 Highway 81 in Walton County, 2.5 acres. Proposed development is retail shops with road alignment and out parcels.
Okay, thank you, Tim, for the description. We need a motion, please.
Okay.
One second. Tim, can we read the staff agreement, zoning conditions for y'all?
I can read it on this one. I was gonna read it in on the next one. Yes.
So we can go ahead and vote on this one then? Okay. So I make a motion that we vote to change the zoning from A2 to CH on this property,
With condition.
with conditions that Tim's
And
going to
Tim?
review.
Conditions are on,
No.
the conditions are on F, not D, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're ready for a motion on this piece of property?
Yeah, I made the
She
motion.
just made it.
Okay,
Need a
we're
second.
ready for a second?
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Okay, we have two opposed. That'd be Melanie and that'd be Jay, so it passes 4-2. Okay, Tim?
Next item is annexation, case number A22-014. The applicant is Mark Myers. The property owner is Peggy Bird and Donald Misk. Parcel number is CO160006A00. Present zoning is A2. The address is 4746 Highway 81 in Walton County. It's 10.0 acres. Proposed development is retail shops with road alignment and out parcels.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you for your description. We need a motion, please.
I make a motion that we annex this property into the city.
Okay. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes 6-0.
The next item is the rezone for that property. It's case number R22-015. The applicant is Mark Myers. The property owner is Peggy Bird and Donald Misk. The parcel number is CO160006A00. Present zoning is A2. The requested zoning is CH. Address is 4746 Highway 81 in Walton County, 10.0 acres. Proposed development is retail shops with road alignment and out parcels. And staff has conditions for the rezone, which would be, 1, the access management design for the subject property, including the full realignment of Rock Road, shall be submitted for review to the local authorities having jurisdiction in conjunction with the city of Loganville and in conformance with regulations imposed by the local authorities having jurisdiction. Approval of Rock Road realignment and access management details shall be required prior to issuance of a permit. 2, the required access, traffic sidewalk improvements associated with the proposed development, design, and construction shall be at the full expense of the developer and/or property owner. The developer and/or property owner shall convey the necessary right-of-ways to be dedicated to the city of Loganville or those authorities having jurisdiction. The road alignment shall be substantially similar to the exhibit provided with the zoning application. 3, no other vehicle access to the subject property shall be allowed for the existing Rock Road and Highway 81 without review and approval of local authorities having jurisdiction in the city of Loganville. The access point shall be designed and constructed to be substantially similar to the exhibit provided with the zoning application. 4, the permit approvals required from other authorities having jurisdiction, i.e. GDOT or Walton County, or public easements and property acquisitions from private property owners or homeowners associations for off-site improvements related to the realignment of Rock Road shall be obtained by the developer and/or property owner of the subject property and submitted for review and approval to the city of Loganville. Prior to the development permit being issued, the developer and/or property owner shall exhaust all reasonable measures to obtain permit approvals, and property acquisitions and documents shall be provided to the city of Loganville in this regard. If all reasonable measures to obtain jurisdictional permit approvals, public easements, and property acquisitions from private properties fail, the developer/property owner shall design and construct the portion of Rock Road realignment contained within the subject property, in addition to a driveway connection with the existing Rock Road to be substantially similar to the exhibit provided with the zoning application.
Thank you, Tim.
I know, right?
Well, this particular development, for those of you here, involves the developer's agreement that will allow the city to do away with an intersection that's really needs improvement, and that's Rock Road and 81. A lot of accidents, some deaths, I understand. That's been number one on the city's priority list for at least 2 years before we got involved with GDOT on the Highway 20 work, and then we sort of flipped over to Tommy Lee Fuller because that's another crisis in the making, and we're going to move that, or we plan to. So we just wanted understood, Mark and the developer, that we expect that to be upheld. And I think he expects to uphold it. Okay. Okay? Okay, with the conditions and with the descriptions, do we have a motion?
I make a motion that with the conditions and descriptions that Tim just read, that we turn this, that we rezone this from A2 to CH.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Aye. Okay, we have 2 opposed, Melanie and Jay, so it carries 4-2. Okay?
Only other thing we have under planning and development is the tree ordinance.
We had some discussion about this Monday night, whether to continue with working on this, to, keep Danny keep working on this, or to do away with the tree ordinance at this time, maybe address it at a different time. So I make a motion that we do away with the tree ordinance at this time, and that do we need to vote on taking the memorandums out? That comes later, okay. So I just make a motion that we do away with the tree ordinance at this time and maybe pick it up at another date. So that's my motion.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Aye. Melanie, opposed. So that passes 5-1. And just for info, I think all the people on the council wanted a tree ordinance. However, we didn't want to, correct me if I say this wrong, we did not want to impose on property owners in our city things that we didn't think we could live with.
We didn't want to infringe on anybody's rights.
That's true. Infringe on anyone's rights, property owners in particular. My goal was to, if we have any large developments come to town, I wanted it where they could not so easily clear cut and let everybody live with the drainage issues that causes. But we just couldn't figure out the way to do it right. So that's the reason we can always come back and revisit again.
Yes, we can. And Mayor, that's all I have for tonight. Thank you,
Okay.
Tim.
Tim, you rested? Okay, we'll move to Finance, Human Resource Committee. Ann Hunsinger.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You may remember Monday night, we had a very late submission of a movie contract. Danny, do you know, I didn't see an email from Robin. She wanted to review it. Did we get a Pope's sign off from
Yes,
Robin?
Robin's agreed to it. Talked to her earlier today. She was okay with it. Just for the record, Melanie asked me a second ago about section 4 on page 1. They have 142 days to do this unless a pandemic. There's many reasons. And the way I read it is, it says the producer shall have the right to reschedule the document days without paying an additional fee. So I can see what Ms. Long was referring to. When I read it, it says we can have the right to reschedule. I don't know if that answers your question, Melanie, but that's kind of the way I read it. Then it says the leaser agrees to assist in making such schedule in good faith and in reasonable manner, and not so as to frustrate the purpose of renegotiating any of the terms and conditions of this location agreement, or to impede, hinder, or delay in any manner whatsoever production, exhibit, distribution, exploitation of the program, of the advertising, promotions, or publicly therefore. So I can make a motion that you, I might ask you to make a motion to approve, as long as Robin reads that section, just confirms to me that, you know, they would have to reschedule after May 1st, because our events start May 1st, and they know they have to be gone, and if something does happen, it doesn't automatically give them a right to come back without any approval from us.
Okay, well,
Page 1, section 4.
yeah, I appreciate that, because like I said, it says they're gonna be here for 142 days. And should we have bad weather, inclement weather, and they lose 30 or 40 days, I wanna make sure that they're only gonna be given those to make up, so for their total 142 days. I want that to be very clear. And then, there was a section, over here, I just want clarification, section 5, where they're agreeing their rates here. The town green, that is a per day fee. 254 Main Street and 133 Camp Street, there's just a dollar amount there. Is that all we're charging them for 142 days of those two lights? I'm clarifying that. Okay, and then you already noted that there was a correction typo on the date there.
Yes, on the mayor's contract, I white out those with 2023 on that.
Okay, and then
There's also a typo on the first page.
Yeah.
250 Main Street. Excuse me, 254.
And then, section 6, where it's talking about how they're gonna leave everything as good as they found it, so on and so forth. What, city entity, what department is gonna be checking on this? Because we only have, like, I think it said, 5 or 6 days we have 5 days of completion that we're satisfied with everything. And I think last time it took a little bit longer than 5 days for us to realize things that were not done properly.
Well, this is just for those two pieces. This is not for any other persons or private entities' property. This is just for those addresses. Those typically Robbie, Christie, and Jeremy goes and looks at properties to make sure there's nothing out of sorts. Like, you know, your sign was, one of your signs was damaged. I know that took some time, but that would not be addressed by this contract. This contract is only for the city and for the movie. So it'd only be for the 254 Main Street, 133 Camp Street, and Town Green.
Okay, that's all I wanted to check on. Thank you, Danny.
Melanie, can you tell me how you want me to word the motion? Like which year, the 142 days? So I word it right.
I don't know, do I need my microphone on since you
No,
and I
just tell
have-
me, no, just tell me.
I don't know how I need to word it, that even when they reschedule it, they cannot exceed a total of 142 days of production. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah, all right, so I'd like to make a motion that we approve this contract with the condition that the total amount of occupancy will not exceed 142 days. Is that okay? Okay.
Without prior approval of.
Without prior approval of the council. You okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second?
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Carries 6-0.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, just before we leave that topic, Danny, could you tell the folks in the audience, please, the timeframes that the movie people are looking to be here, and the extent of this particular shooting episode versus the last?
Well, what we were told is essentially the same amount of time. It was exactly this time last year they came and started, I believe it was the 9th, we're on the 8th. But they'll be here from December till May 1st. I know last year we extended May 1st by 4 or 5 days due to a rain. We were told there's gonna be a little bit less of an impact to the downtown. Some of these shots they do are now built on their studio where they won't have to be here as much. They're gonna flip some of the filming locations where on the backside of the Main Street buildings where they were filming next to Braxton's Antique, they're gonna now film closer on Town Green side and just have a lot less footprint than they had before, not so many base camps. That's what we've been told. We do have a new location manager we are working with this year, so I mean, we all had a good rapport with them. Christie is really the one that speaks to them just about daily. They were willing to do anything we asked, so you know, it was a good working experience, and we expect the same.
But it will not be as extensive as what we saw.
That's
but
what we've been told now.
the GMO and CS Floyd turned into an Italian restaurant.
Yep, they have that now on studio where they can film it there
Right.
instead of at that location.
And this is, as I understand it, for season 2.
That is season 2, correct?
So they've already done season 1.
Yep.
They've been approved to shoot season 2. And who knows how many seasons it may go. We don't. And of course, it sounds like they're building a Loganville somewhere else anyway, part of it.
I would like to add one more thing. I've spoken to a lot of the business owners up and down Main Street and trying to work with them because there were some issues from last year. And I'm just putting this out now publicly. If y'all know any of the owners or if there's anybody in town that specifically had an issue last year, because we will be coming up to different contracts that we'll be expected to sign, I'd be more than happy to talk to them and help them work through their issues. So if y'all will let them know that. Thank you.
Well, I personally wouldn't have any problem with you advising at all, but they need to make their agreements with the movie company, and they need to sign the contracts with the movie company between them and the movie company.
That is right, but I'm up here to protect the citizens, and if our citizens have a problem with something that was done in this city, I want to know about that so that I can help to get them the correct help they need.
Well, I understand that, but I don't want us to be part of the contract negotiations.
We're not, they're negotiating their contracts on their own.
Okay, just so we understand. Okay, can we move? Is that it, Ann? Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Public Safety Committee, Jay Bowler.
Thank you, sir. So tonight, we don't have anything on the agenda, but I thought I would do a 2022 year in review. So, let's start it off. Christmas came early for Chief Johnson, who's in the back this year. He got 2 fire trucks that will be delivered next year, hopefully. Let's see, we had 2,059 calls to date, 47 were fire, and 2012 were EMS calls. The national average response time for fire is 8 to 10 minutes. Loganville's is 6. Let's see, and then Battalion Chief Fire Marshal Ken Durden is set to retire this year after 42 years of service to the city of Loganville. And Kent went on 2,654 fire marshal calls this year. So that a boy, Kent. All right, moving on to PD. Here we go. Total calls of service, 9,790 through today. 33 DUIs. How can you have a DUI with Uber and Lyft? I'll never understand. But let's see, arrests 325, accidents 1,092. DEA, we have 2 DEA agents in our department, right, Chief? That are, okay. Cash, $2,736,000 in seized funds. Now, eventually, we get a percentage of that, correct, Chief? We don't know when. We can't do it we can't put that money towards salaries or new cars, but there's certain things we can do with it, which we do. Oh, you can buy cars? Okay, cool. Jewelry, $412,000. Cars, $224,000. We need to open up a pawn shop. That's a total of $3.3 million in change in DEA funds seized. Wow. What else we have here? We had a public safety day with a bounce house, a dunk tank that I participated in, and we had a packed house. pizza, drinks, music. It was a good day there. We brought back the 8th annual Donut Dash, and the Loganville Police Department donated a total of $15,313.41 to the Walton County Special Olympics. And Chief Lowry said it'll be more next year, and I believe him. The Back the Blue Car Show, the 3rd annual Back the Blue Car Show, donated $10,500 to the Loganville Police Department. Funds were used to purchase ballistic shields for patrol officers. So we thank them for that. Shop with the Hero. 16th annual Shop with the Hero was held December 3rd with over 130 children. And what happens is they get $100, right, Chief? And here's the thing about that. You think you give these kids $100 and they go spend it on themselves, but they don't. They're thinking about their mom, their dad, their sister. True? And here's another thing I'm not supposed to tell you, but I'm going to say it anyways. Sometimes it goes over $109, $129, $132, right? LPD reaches in their pocket and covers that. They don't say a word about it. They don't get reimbursed. How fantastic is that? Now, that's not 131 kids do that, but, it adds up if it's 5 or 10 or 20 of them, right? They don't do it on purpose, but thank you for doing that, guys and gals. Total agency training, check this out, 86 hours per officer, which is 4 times the state mandate. That's impressive right there. Let's see, what else do I have here? Okay, here's what we purchased with SPLOST funds. 7 new tasers, 3 new body-worn cameras. With drug money, we purchased and issued new patrol rifles to all officers. Purchased and issued additional less lethal beanbag shotguns. Purchased and issued forcible entry breaching tools for patrol officers. And purchased and implemented police drone program with drug money. We added 1 additional full-time school resource officer. And we want to thank Chief McHugh for his 20 years of service as police chief. And we also this year have a new police chief, Chief Dick Lowry, right there in the front row, and Assistant Chief Greg Warnack in the back, for those of you who don't know. 2 fantastic men. And I'm going to tell you a little something about Chief Lowry. If you call Chief Lowry at 3 o'clock in the morning, he's going to answer the phone. Then he's going to say, "Are you okay? Where are you?" And I'm on my way. That's Chief Lowry. If the SHIT hits the fan, or if the zombies apocalypse happens, or the aliens come down, I'm getting my family and I'm finding Dick Lowry. And here's why. Because he's brilliant and I know everything's going to be okay. I'm just telling the truth. I'm so proud of Dick Lowry and Greg Warnack. I've known them for many years, and I just want to thank both of them, along with Chief Johnson, in both departments, for all your hard work and for being our heroes. Thank you. Okay. One more thing real quick. This weekend, the Empty Stocking Fund, Saturday at 8 a.m. at the Journey Church in Between Georgia. It starts at 8 o'clock. What you do is you pull up behind the church with a truck. You can take 4 or 5 baskets, 10 baskets. I do it every year with my family. The baskets are extremely heavy. So if you want to help out those in need, the Journey Church in Between, Saturday at 8.
And what they need is help with transportation of the products of the individual.
Yeah, the boxes are quite heavy, and you can, if you want to do Loganville or Social Circle, Monroe, you can just kind of pick and choose based on the sheet you get. So that is all I have for you.
Very good. Thank you very much. Just a couple of notes. It's a shame when a city has almost $1 million in funds to buy 2 very needed fire trucks, and we can't get them for 18 months because they can't get the parts to make them. It's tough when we come up with the money to buy police cruisers that are needed, and we really have to work like the dickens to find them, to get them. So it's the current state of the economy affects a lot of things. Another one is, if you're looking at budgets, the sewer plant, the chemicals for the sewer plant have gone up 100%. And it's a lot of chemicals and it's a lot of money. Okay, just for notes. Okay, now we'll move on to Public Utilities Transportation Committee. Bill Duvall.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So just to recap, Monday night we put on consent the new stormwater guidelines and that the city worked on real hard. And as a result too, and we've decided to forego pursuing the tree ordinances. At this time, we don't have anything holding up. We had a moratorium on development. It's been so long, I can't remember when we initiated this.
Tim will speak on that. He had it ready.
Go ahead.
It was a 90-day moratorium, and it expires next month, the first of next month.
Okay.
And we're asking that that be lifted since the stormwater ordinance has been passed and the tree ordinance is no longer viable.
So with that, Mr. Mayor, I'd make a motion that we end the moratorium on development.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes 6-0. And Tim, just for the folks here, could you, for example, it's my understanding that if somebody wanted to remodel their house, they could not do it until after the moratorium. Is that true, to a degree?
No, it wasn't for interior remodels. It was for development and land disturbance, which we've had 3 or 4 that's wanted to submit some type of development permit or land disturbance that they couldn't do under the moratorium, even if it was adding 3 parking spaces to their parking lot. You know, they wouldn't allow to submit a permit for that.
And there's some concern about interest rates going up fairly rapidly. That's affecting some of those workings.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Passes 6-0. Bill, anything else?
No, sir, Mr. Mayor. Thank you very much.
I would like to thank Bill Duvall, if I could, just for a second. He is involved in a hunting trip down near Albany, and he drove from Albany back here to be at this meeting tonight, and I appreciate it. And he's driving back to Albany tonight to be young again. Wouldn't it be nice? But anyway,
Thank you.
we'll move on to Public Works Facilities Committee. Melanie Long.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have anything much, except I just wanted to give my monthly report. Jeremy and his crew made 308 stops this past month and picked up 15 tons of debris. And our stormwater guys picked up 30 pounds along Tom Brewer. And that is all I have. Excitingly, I will have something in January.
Very good. What's the progress we're making so far on Destination Park? Bill? Danny? Natalie?
So the contractor started back a couple of weeks ago. I believe it was the 17th of November, maybe a month ago. They've done some of the grading for the sidewalks. That's the first phase. Sidewalks, infrastructure for the restrooms. So that's our first phase, is get the restrooms, water and sewer and sidewalks in. If you've been over there, they had to remove the fence. When that fence was put in, it was put in the right of way, which you're not supposed to do. So we have to move that. But just little things like that, they're fixing now, and hopefully hope to be complete in June of next year. That'll let the families use the restroom. That's the biggest concern at that park, is there's no restrooms. And after we get that complete, we'll probably look at doing some other phase with maybe upgrading some equipment and putting some shade structures at that spot, because it's pretty much in the sun. But that'll come in the next phase.
Since you're talking about parks, can I ask him a question? Did we ever get the slide, was that Gaither Park over there on Tommy Lee Fuller? Did that slide ever come in?
I'll have to check. I know Jeremy ordered it. I don't know if there was a delay. I believe there was a delay in some of the parts, but I can check with him.
I had an email recently about the progress, because they sent a picture and there's not a slide, but it's been a couple of weeks, and I
Okay.
forgot to
I'll
mention
check
it.
with him.
Well, as everybody knows, if you've taken kids to the park, the first thing has to happen is they have to go to the bathroom. And most of the time, we take them over to the Shell station across the street, so his traffic is going to drop when we get these in, but it's certainly needed. Great, appreciate you working on that, Danny. Okay, Bill. Melanie, anything else?
That is all, thank you.
Okay, we'll move to Economic Development Committee. Brandon Whitfield.
I have no actionable items, but I do want to touch on the parade. It was really fun this year. Thank you, everybody who came in the rain. It cleared out before the actual event started. A lot of us were there. We all had a lot of fun. Passed out a lot of candy. A lot of candy. So please remember next year, rain or shine, because that's what we did this year. But anyways, that's all I got, Mayor.
And Assistant Chief, I apologize for holding up the parade. I know you're pretty mad at me. But Buddy the Elf was in a big demand.
Yeah, next year we're hoping for a lot better weather.
Well, I do hope everybody that's here and on TV tonight, I hope you appreciate the efforts that are being made by the employees of the city to have events in Loganville. Many of you, if you've noticed, we put in our town green 10 years ago, and we've been running those concerts for 10 years. Many other cities around us are following us. As a matter of fact, Monroe is in the midst of building theirs. Grayson already has one, and it just seems to be some way to bring the community together to make us all better together. So it's a wonderful thing. Okay, we'll move to Danny Roberts' report, City Manager.
Okay, give you a little update. So, received some phone calls this week, and it's been on Facebook about the homeless in Loganville, in the area. And they call and want us to go arrest them or take them somewhere, put them somewhere else. Well, that is illegal. It's not against the law to be homeless. Some choose to be homeless. But what Chief Lowry has told me is if they're doing something against the law, harassing, trespassing, they can enforce that. But if they're on a public sidewalk, walking, there is nothing that we can do to stop it. It is an issue that seems to be getting worse, but if anybody had an answer to homeless, I think we've done something a long time ago, something that the county, the state is going to have to look at. As far as a shelter, we don't have a shelter in this area. I know Athens had one, they closed. It's just a huge problem that somehow the federal government trying to get involved with the state and come up with a solution. But I just want to let everybody know that if you see something, certainly call 911. Do not call City Hall. I'm not the person that's going to come out and talk to them. Call 911. If it's important, let them get the police officers there quickly. Calling Chief delays it. Calling me delays it. Calling you all delays it. Call 911. Chief, is there anything else you want to add on that?
No, so I'll just say that it is something, in fact, we had a couple of calls today along the same line.
Here you go.
It's not illegal to be homeless. We have had to, we had a fellow a month or so ago, I think, Greg, that actually set up camp on the stage at the town green. Well, obviously you can't do that. And we addressed that, and we will continue to address if they're trespassing, if they're refusing to leave a business that wants them to leave, or any private property. That if as a property owner, that's your right, and we will make them leave if they don't leave voluntarily. But as far as being in a public place, there's just not a lot that we can do about it. We do offer them what assistance that we can, but like Mr. Roberts said, one of our biggest struggles is finding somewhere that we can take people. It's a real problem in this area, and it's not just Loganville that's up against it. It's pretty widespread, unfortunately.
Chief, can I ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am.
I've had several calls, and you know, about this time every year, we get that family,
Yes, ma'am.
the peddlers, panhandlers, whatever you want to call it, and I know they're running a sort of a scam.
Yes,
Can you
ma'am.
speak to that and tell the people what they should do when they see them?
If you see panhandlers, peddlers, people, soliciting funds, that's not allowed in our city. And we will go out immediately and move them on. We do have some that are almost in a circuit, I guess you'd say, that come around that we see more often than we do others. But that is something we certainly can address. But like Mr. Roberts said, the very best thing you can do is call 911, and they'll have officers there in a couple of minutes. If you call, and if I'm not able to answer the phone, or you call Dan and he's not, well, by the time we get the message and get somebody on the way, then things have changed. So please use the 911 system. That's what it's for.
And just echo that, American Legion does help. They're probably our biggest advocate for that. They put a lot of money into that. So if you're looking for a good organization to donate, look at the American Legion, because I know they get with the chief and they put them up in the any kind of hotel room they can find in the area. You know, it may help just for the night, but maybe they just need one night. So just please, if you're looking to help, I would start with American Legion or Red Cross. They're good organizations.
Can I add one to that real quick?
No, I'm yes.
Hope Atlanta is who a lot of that they go through is Hope Atlanta, especially for veterans, and they try and find them homes. And a lot of times it's not because the people don't have the money; they just can't find a place to go.
Right.
So that's really the biggest problem. So yeah, the motels have been full all over Walton County. There's been a lot of people set out because, you know, their homes went up for rent and now they had nowhere to go, stuff like that. But Hope Atlanta has really filled a gap in a lot of that as well.
And also fish. I don't want to leave them out. They do a lot in this community, a lot in Walton County. Also, Shepherd Staff feeding. They do a tremendous job. So that's just some of the few entities. If you're looking to give money to, please do, or anything that you can give. Ms. Long, to answer your question, Jeremy just texted me. The slide was ordered April the 14th. It was on back order. It came in 2 weeks ago. They installed it the next day, so there's a new slide there.
Thank you. Like I said, it's been a couple of weeks. I just forgot to ask you about that. Thank you.
You're welcome. This stuff's for staff at 7:23 at nighttime. Answer my text message. Great staff. While we're speaking about staff, I want to talk about Kent Durden. I know you mentioned it, Jay. I worked with Kent for many years in the fire department. He was my, back then he was a major and a captain, so I worked for him. That's where I learned all my shenanigans through him. He's the king shenanigan. You did not mess with him because he would always get you back, but put this in perspective, 42 continuous years for the city. There was no break in between, and most of those were volunteer years too, where he received no money back then. So I'm 47, he's been doing it since I was 5. So yes, I mean, he's, you know, just, and also just for the note, not to steal thunder from, he just left, Chief Johnson. Kent built the fire marshal's office that we have today. He started on duty by himself, and now we have an office of 3 with 2 investigators that we never had before. We always relied on the state of Georgia to send them, and they would only come if there was a fatality or if it was a church or something like that was on fire. But kudos to you, Kent. I know you're watching. We're going to miss him. There's probably going to be a lot of people crying at the lunch, probably me included. So anyway, I just want to say thanks for your service. I think that's it. Have a Merry Christmas. And we'll have a committee meeting next Thursday at 10 a.m. So the 3 of y'all are more than welcome to come, Mayor, but the rest of y'all can't. Then it comes to call a council meeting, but if y'all wish, we'll do that too. Public, you are welcome, and it will be YouTube. So I believe that's all I have. Robin has nothing. She's out with her daughter, so she said sorry, and she says she'll see you when she sees you. Let's go home.
Okay. Thank you, Danny. Okay, with that said, we've gone through all the committees. We need a motion to adjourn this meeting. We have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? It passes 6-0. But before we go, Merry Christmas to everybody. We will not see you as a council meeting until after the first of the year. And have a very Merry Christmas.